Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Premier Sim Gaming Leagues with the final PC F2 race of 2022. Back where F1 started all those years ago. We are at Silverstone, the home of motorsport, for the British Grand Prix. My name is Luke Etheridge. Joining me tonight is Joshua Birch. Josh, how are you doing?
Doing very well, thank you. I feel a bit like Jack Nicholson at the end of The Shining, where I'm just a frozen icicle in the commentary box at the moment, but I'll warm up once the qualifying and the race gets underway. But how are you doing with your voice now? You all good for tonight?
Well, we're going to find out, I think, is going to be the answer, to be perfectly honest. We'll see how it goes. I feel a bit under the weather. Maybe that's why I'm not feeling quite as cold. I feel very cosy and Christmassy at the moment. And there were quite a few drivers in a gifting mood a couple of weeks ago at Monaco in what was pretty much absolute carnage. You guys might remember the original race got postponed after 13 laps due to incidents with the host game crashing, caused all sorts of chaos with the lobby, so we had to restart. And in both lobbies, there was one man who was absolutely dominant all the way through, and that was Duncan Hoffland, winning the race by nearly 20 seconds in the end from Chanakinchi. Ismail Fassi finishing in third place. Matthew Older getting his first points of the season in fourth place, and you can see the rest of the point scorers there. Quite a chaotic race indeed, but with none of the guys right at the top of the championship having the best of races, really. It is still Ika Baena on the top step of the championship at the moment. His teammate Ismail Fassi has now moved up into second place. In them two, Will Lewis, Chanakinchi, Duncan Hoffland, who has scored all his points in the last three races, and Mirko Subiano. Anyone of those six drivers could be leading at the championship at the end of tonight. And as you were saying off air before we started, Josh, it has been an incredibly close championship so far. You can't really swing which way things are going to go. In qualifying, the Hatters have definitely had the pace, but in the race, as you can see by how close things are, it's been pretty much anyone's game.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the great things about the F2 leagues as well, is the fact is that everything is constantly so close. Just looking at that, you've got the top six separated by about 11 points. It's insanity going into what is a very much weird part of the calendar where you've had a week off. Now you're going into a race at Silverstone, a very hard track to overtake out, so qualifying is more key. Then you're going into the Christmas break before coming back in the new year for a 5-race run to the end of the championship. So crucially, what this race is going to be about is scoring points, keeping yourself inside the top 5 for the championship, and then once we get back after Christmas, really starting to run for the championship. As we also heard from Carter Lundy saying that he was going to try something tonight to try and win the race, and we also had a few drivers also talking in the F2 chat saying that they're going to do the similar thing of run for the title after the Christmas break ends as well.
Yeah, it really is a good chance tonight maybe for one of those top drivers to try and get a bit of a gap and give themselves a bit of a boost going into the Christmas break. But I'm sure the drivers perhaps won't be playing the game quite as much. Of course, we've shown you how close things are in the Drivers' Championship. Haas will be on top of the Constructors no matter what happens tonight. They have a 30-point lead at the moment over Red Bull Racing. Aston Martin are just 1 point further back. And if you go right down to the bottom, Alpine still there, yet to score any points. In fact, there's only 2 full-time drivers yet to score any points so far, and that is Christoph Scheller and Carter Lundy. Jander Van Dijken is now full-time at Alpine, but when he was a reserve, did manage to score a point, so they'll both be hoping for some good performances tonight, although I'm not 100% sure Carter is actually going to be with us, which is a shame for him. It would have been interesting to see what he could have done around Silverstone. Of course, almost a completely different track to what we had last time out. The tight, twisted nature of Monaco. Silverstone, very fast, very flowing, but not necessarily the easiest to overtake on.
Yeah, they modified the track back in 2010, of course, to try and promote a lot more stop-start overtaking zones as well, which is why we've got the first sector with Farm, Village and the Loop and Aintree sort of very tight, slow together before it opens up again to the fast-flowing Wellington Straight into Brooklands as well. But the track naturally is a single file circuit with only really 3 overtaking spots, 1 into Brooklands, 1 into Stowe, and if you're very optimistic, trying to go around the outside into Village has proved to be an option in the past couple of seasons.
Yeah, we do see drivers going for that. I think especially perhaps later on in the race when things are getting a bit more desperate and a bit more dicey. We'll see what happens, of course, with the weather as well. It is Silverstone. At the end of the day, there's always a possibility that we are going to get some wet weather. And if we do, expect to see a lot of drivers going through this race without any pit stops whatsoever. Pirelli bring their hardest tyres to this circuit, which pretty much means tyre wear is not anything to worry about. It will be a straightforward one-stop strategy for everyone, and it's an extremely long pit lane as well, so if you're forced into making a second pit stop for damage or for whatever reason, it's pretty much game over for your race.
Yeah, and I think that's a very key thing that they thought about when designing the track as well, is to try and, because with the old pit lane here at Silverstone, it was actually one of the shortest, and it used to give you a very interesting advantage in the race to run 3, maybe even 4 stops back in the day. Then with this pit lane as well, it cuts out the last corner of Club, and it takes you uphill towards turn 2 and 3 exit. So it does add more time, but I'm thinking as well, we're only going to see a one stop, as you say, and if it is going to rain, then we're going to see them start on the hards and go mediums very late on in the race. I don't think we'll get into soft range tyres if it is going to be a wet weather race, but we'll see what they're going to run when we get into that part of the race.
Yeah, I mean, I think also we're going to see some drivers maybe start, if they're a bit out of position in qualifying. We've seen it happen across pretty much most of the races this season, apart from Monaco. I think we'll see people gambling, going 23, 24 laps on a set of the hard tyres, just praying for that safety car, because if it comes, you're laughing all of a sudden. Everyone's going to almost need to come into the pits. You'll be able to go out there on a set of the soft tyres. So, yeah, should definitely be an interesting one. As Jess has mentioned in the chat there, Monday's race winner in PS. Because of esports, we had a break week. So, instead of being the first races of the week on the PC, we're the last races this time around. Back to normal, it will be after Christmas. Survived the entire race without pitting, and that was on a set of the intermediate tyres. So, don't be surprised if you do see someone go a bit brave and see someone try that tonight, especially if they, are feeling that they are pretty confident. But you make any slight mistakes, you'll pretty much be able to guarantee that that strategy will not be happening for you. But without any further ado, let's head into qualifying, and they'll be glad that, for now at least, things are looking very dry out there. Bit darker than it normally looks at Silverstone, but yeah, things looking very dry at the moment.
Looks like a February morning Aston Martin Red Bull launch day, doesn't it, with everything as well, because the sun just beginning to peak up at the exit of the pit lane. Everyone looks like they're going on softs. Ferrari going out there as well, but it's quite pleasant, actually. It doesn't look as cold as it is in the UK right now, which is good news, because Silverstone at the moment, I believe, is a mixture of black ice and sleety snow, isn't it? So it's not really the place to be, but looks fantastic. Could we be in that UK instead?
Yeah, I think what we've done is they've clearly decided to go for a bit more of a winter vibes at the moment. So we're going for a bit of the lower sun. I mean, anyone might know, there's been a lot of drivers moaning about the sun going in their eyes at various different points. And I'm guessing they're being told that they are going to be restarting things at the moment, because we are clearly not at the right time. No matter how pretty and how nice Silverstone looks at the sunset, it is not at the right time, unfortunately. So it does look so we are going to be having a bit of a restart, which I think after the 2-hour chaos that was Monaco, probably the last thing anyone wanted.
Well, it's 7 minutes later than what was billed to start qualifying at as well. And now this is going to be, another further 10-minute delay or so? So that's probably around about 50 minutes past the hour we get this race started. So this is not good news for anybody. But the other bright side is it is actually a quick race around Silverstone, because it's a fast track. The average speed here does keep it. So 52 laps halved gives us to all about, 26 laps in total, 27 max. So we should be able to get this done in around about 40 minutes. So it should still take us to our usual time of off air, but depending on how quick they set the next lobby up.
Yeah, that is always the fun. I've had it confirmed. It is going to be a restart, so they will be restarting this lobby at some point. I think we've seen most of the drivers leaving the session already. So yeah, should be fairly quick. Hopefully we'll be able to get going pretty quickly. We're hearing as well it was going to be dry for qualifying and the race, which should mean that it is going to stay the same next time around. And we'll see if Esteban Pookie actually does continue to carry on this lap of Silverstone, which, like Josh said, is now one of the fastest circuits in Formula 1 ever since they rejigged the layout to add this new section. It did get slightly faster than it was before, but still not quite the same as it was in the mid-80s, when it was even faster than Monza. Keke Rosberg setting the first ever 160-mile-per-hour qualifying lap around here in a Williams, which had a slow puncture in the 80s, which pretty much sums up what Formula 1 was like back in that turbo era.
Yeah, it was literally just hold on to a fiberglass car and just sort of go. James Hunt literally did describe it as a bomb on wheels several times as well. And I've always wanted to go in an 80s car. I think they're the prettiest and the most interesting compared to the spaceships we drive these days. I think the 80s was sort of the last one before computers started getting involved. Because 92, it was the Mansell FW14B at Williams, wasn't it? So it was the moving active suspension. Ferrari then copied it as well, and it sent Berger flying as well in Portugal. But I must admit, the 80s cars, I think the last people that any normal person could drive is the 80s.
Yeah, and as you can see, the lobby is ending, so we should all be heading back soon. So we'll quickly get away from that one while we're waiting for the chance to get everything to start. And an interesting point, because the restart happened so early on, pretty much, well, basically before anyone had done any qualifying laps, there is going to be dynamic weather again. So there is a possibility that we could get rain once again in this race, which would certainly, certainly make things just that little bit more interesting, a little bit more adventurous around here. And yeah, I always seem to remember about the 80s cars, especially once they got rid of the ground effect. They were never that complex. It just seemed to be stick as big of an engine in as you possibly could get away with, stick as bigger tyres on as you could possibly get away with, and just hang on for dear life in qualifying. I mean, we're talking qualifying engines that could get up to around 1,500 brake horsepower, but they'd manage that for one lap before they very quickly became an explosion. So yeah, but thankfully, cars nowadays are a bit more reliable than they were then. Even more reliable. I remember when I first started watching, you'd be having teams putting in engine for qualifying, engine for practice, engine for the race, and then they'd all be chucked in the bin afterwards. Seems crazy now. We're talking about 3 engines a season.
Yeah, and what I'm thinking about with the 3 engines per season is the fact is that it's not actually supposed to be that, is it? Because do you remember when the FIA said the longer the calendar gets, you'll get another engine per 4 races added? And that was when the calendar was at 18 races back in 2014. We're now at 24 races, and we've actually reduced it from 4 engines to 3 engines. So that's either A, the technology is getting great, or B, the fact is that the FIA just don't know what they're doing. So I'm going with B on that one.
Yeah, I mean, whether we're actually allowed to make that statement and the FIA won't shut us down afterwards, we'll have to wait and see what happens.
That's a fair point.
It's nearly Christmas. Let's not get too political now. I mean, I do find it astounding how they get the performance out of the cars when they're only allowed 3 engines a season in inverted commas.
I think if the FIA don't shut their own president down after what happened at the prize giving, I don't think they're going to mind what we say about that as well. No waiting for the comms, apparently. So they're waiting for us, but I don't see anybody in the lobby, which is a weird one.
Well, I was just doing the old F1 trick of restarting the game when you get out of the lobby, because you never know. Yes. You never know what could happen, but hopefully it won't be too long before we are able to get back underway. Thankfully, no waiting for setting up the grid or everything, so shouldn't be too long before we are able to get things underway with this qualifying session. So yeah, we are now heading our way into qualifying now, so shouldn't be too long. We'll wait and see if things are going to end up being dry again. Otherwise it could cause absolute chaos for everyone else. But we'll wait to see what happens. Parc Fermé rules, let's not forget, as soon as you head out there in qualifying, so not a lot you can do about that if you are going to get that changeable conditions. And I think the one rule that everyone's forgotten has changed. That in a way, I'm kind of glad, because it sort of helps those guys in the midfield, is getting rid of that tyre rule that existed in 2021. Because now, then, if you started between 7th and 10th on the grid, you were in for a long afternoon.
Yeah, I didn't like that. I never liked that rule, to be fair. I always thought it disadvantaged everybody too much. I like how we have it now. And the idea that we're going to have more qualifying tyres possibly coming in. I think next year, isn't it? 2023, they're testing Q1 is hard, Q2 medium, Q3 soft, to try and reduce the limit on things. That could be quite entertaining. But I think qualifying has restarted, which is a strange one, because they shouldn't have restarted at the moment. Well, just looking down at the F2 general chat, it's exploding about as much as it did last weekend, Luke, as well. So this could be entertaining, this qualifying session.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens here. Whether we are, I mean, hopefully everything is going to be going fine. So yeah, I think we are heading in. There is not planned to be, touch wood, there's not planned to be another restart, but we'll wait and see what happens. And the cars are now starting to make their way out of the pit lane. And one of the first cars that is heading out there is going to be Jack West. Now, Jack, felt so sorry for him last time out. If you don't remember, for incidents a couple of weeks ago, he had a grid qualifying ban for qualifying at Monaco. Possibly the worst place to get one. And also had a 10-second penalty to be added to his race time at Monaco. He fought through all that. He fought through incidents early on. And then, with a few laps to go, got a puncture and ended up getting no points whatsoever. Such a shame for him, but I feel this is the track that sort of brought about a bit of a resurgence with Jack West. He had a poor season last year, got a podium around here, and after starting okay at the start of this season, feel like he could do with another good performance tonight, because he's definitely shown more pace than what his 11 points are showing in the championship.
Absolutely, and one thing I like about Silverstone is because it's a high-speed circuit, but it's a flat circuit as well, so it is quite easy to get the hang of very quickly. So a good qualifying position helps you in the race as well. And as you said, he's had a great start to the season. Do you remember him back in Spain as well, round 1, when I was with you in the commentary box as well? Gambled on the tyres, gambled, paid off, did brilliantly. And I think now we could see that happen again. We understand it's going to be dry throughout the entire race. I'm just looking at the F2 General chat saying that it isn't even going to be wet at the end. So that indicates towards it's dry. So a good qualifying here could see him do very well in the race. I would say, if you don't qualify in the top 5 at Silverstone, you're going to have a long afternoon of either trying to get past or be passed. So this could be funny. Here's Ismail Fassi now.
Yeah, it could be definitely fun indeed. Let's go on board then with Ismail Fassi. 2 pole positions so far this season. Joint top of the pole position chart with his teammate as he makes his way through Village and the loop now. We've already got yellow flags as the cars start to all back off. It's nice and flat out through HV as you make your way down the Wellington straight then in towards the Bucklands corner. You can take a very late apex here at this corner and then through Loffield in the race. Expect to see all sorts of side-by-side dicing and action through this part of the circuit. Woodcut, just a flat-out corner. Cut that tarmac as much as you want to on that right-hand side as long as you keep a wheel in the right side of the white line. And that's also what you've got to do as you make your way through Cops, fleeing the car through there. And now into one of the most challenging and brilliant parts to drive a modern Formula 1 car now. Maggot, Beckett and Chappell feathering the throttle, feathering the brake, hitting every apex pretty much perfectly there. Is the young Spaniard, voted our console driver of the year here in PSGL in 2022. And he's not doing bad on the PC either now as he makes his way towards the Stone corner. 6th gear through there, not a heavy braking zone, so despite being a DRS zone, not really the easiest place to overtake there. Now, in towards Vale and Club. Don't go too greedy on the way in. Get the car straightened up towards the finish line for Ismail Fassi. And here he goes, fastest of everyone on a 126.340. But now we've had a pole position prediction of a 126.0 for Jack West. I think if anyone goes underneath a 126.0, I think they're going to be a pretty much a certainty for pole position.
Yeah, T-Ride's just on a 126.2, so I think you're right. Anyone goes below that 126.0, they will undoubtedly have pole position. I'm thinking 126.1 is going to be the lowest we'll get at the moment. I don't think we're going to see it. Everyone is out there, I can see on the soft compound tyres. You can see back home as well, so that's good news. As well as Hardy goes into P5. Now drops down to 6th position as well, as Lutz goes 5th with a 126.591.
Yeah, not too surprised to see that Valentin Thibard's gone fastest at the moment. He is a bit of a qualifying king, I think, as we all know. Very, very fast in qualifying. He's shown that over the many years on the PlayStation platform. Daniel Coyer towards the line. He's having a bit of a run of form at the moment. 2 top 5 finishes in a row, and he's now in towards 5th in this qualifying session as Mirko Suriano just pushes him down briefly. Duncan Hoffland, who's having some good qualifying at the moment. Obviously, getting pole position at Monaco, and he knows qualifying is his weakness. He's up in towards 3rd place at the moment as we see what Chanakinchi can do. Another one of those drivers who's had a decent start to the season and is there or thereabouts when it comes to that championship battle. Just 10 points off the top spots at the moment. Slots himself provisionally onto the front row of the grid. So it's Thibard, Akinci, Fassi, your top 3 at the moment. 4 drivers separated by less than a tenth of a second on one of the longest circuits. Not bad whatsoever.
This is incredibly exciting as well already. They've gone out with 18 minutes and they are gunning it. Usually we don't see these sort of lap times until we get into the last 6 or 7 minutes. So this is brilliant news as well to keep on the action. I'm really, really impressed from Kanakinchi as well, because he had a massive oversteer moment. You might have seen it snapping quite hard coming through turn 18 at club. Managed to hold on to it. Without that snap, and the car, as I'm watching it on my own monitor at the moment, it's still snapping. So if we can get that under control the next run, I think he could take pole position.
Yeah, I mean, that's something we see from our current pole sitter at the moment, Valentin. Yes, he's exceptionally quick, but I always say it's like he's racing with time trial setups. Time trial setups are definitely the quickest over one lap, but the chances of you doing 26 laps without having some very sketchy moments are slim to none. And I think that is why we've seen Valentin did manage to get some points at Monaco, first points of the season, and the fastest lap. But last season, when he was racing on PC, raced in F3 last season, finished 5th in there. I know on the PlayStation, I think he got multiple pole positions before he managed to get his first points. So really interested to see how he can do tonight. Could it be one of his best races of the season? We have got a few different reserve drivers in tonight. Xander Van Dijken was a reserve, but he is now full-time in the Alpine. We've got a PC debut for Mr. Tycho Hardy there, a.k.a. TF Rudy, as you guys will know him from our top tier on the PlayStation. He's been rewarded with a shot on the PC, so perhaps not too surprising to see him a bit off the pace at the moment. PlayStation will still be his main platform for now, but it is a chance for him to, it's a chance for him to show what he can do against, possibly, I'd say in this field, I'd say probably, some future esporters.
Absolutely as well. I mean, I'm surprised about how many esporters also have slipped down the ranks throughout the past couple of years as well. And it's all about the format of what the game specification is, because we've seen Jarno Opmeer struggle a lot with F1 2022's game because he's just not used to it. He says he's getting used to it, but he's had a terrible season. That's allowed the likes of Lucas Blakely to come up, Barry Boyman to have some great seasons again. And I think that's the key. You're good at this version, but you've got to keep that consistency, keep practicing so it becomes a bit more muscle memory so you can adapt to different generations of games. And that is what you've got to learn in these junior formulas. And I do agree with you as well that we've got some cracking drivers on the up that are going to make it to our F1 series and then the F1 Esports series as well after.
Well, yeah, let's not forget when we got PC F1 Season 33 starting at some point in the new year, you're going to have the likes of Joost Noordijk, Ruben Pedreño, Alfie Butcher, who clinched the championship at the final race here last year. They're going to be racing in the top tier. We've seen, definitely seen Pedreño get involved with development teams. Joost Noordijk is as well. I'm sure we'll be seeing that from Alfie Butcher as well at some point in the future. Who knows what could happen for these young talents. Xander Van Dijken, though, on board with him at the moment. Azika Baena now goes fastest on a 1:26.227. The Spaniard definitely showing some fantastic form at the moment, as I think Van Dijken not really pushing absolutely to his limits at the moment. Don't think he's going to be challenging anywhere near the top of the standings with this lap time at the moment as he makes his way around the final corner. Going to be somewhat, well, that's better than I thought it would be for Xander there. Puts himself in towards 6th place, just over 1 and a bit tenths behind Ika Baena. Thought he might have been just in and around the top 10 with that one, but I think it shows how tight this grid is and just how close things can be. As gets a bit greedy on the curb coming through Village there. Spins the Alpine around, no harm done. Being an old airfield, Silverstone, it's quite flat. It's quite a long way away from the barriers at those points, thankfully.
Yeah, you can tell me that again. I don't know if you've ever been to Silverstone as well. I presume you have at some point, but it is amazing how far away you actually are from the track. You've got to literally walk across from the Silverstone wing over to where we're looking now at the Hangar Straight, and you can get quite close to the cars, but the amount of gap between them is insane. You've got Stowe Circuit there, then you've got the rally track there, and it's just amazing that Silverstone you think is so small, but then you see it in person, and it is literally huge. And considering it was an airfield, you really understand how big the old fighter planes as well and all that, the Spitfires that we had here as well, the Lancaster bomber that was there at one point. It's insane how big they actually were, and it was all developed, built, run off this old little airfield that then gave birth to Formula One. It's insane. I love it, and that's why we were saying, weren't we, just before we got going, everyone goes giddy around Silverstone.
Yeah, there's just something about it. I love these high-speed circuits, I'm not the best at any track, if I'm being perfectly honest, but these high-speed ones, there's just a bit of a thrill to them. And I imagine driving any racing car around here feels very good indeed. Oh, that's a big wobble for Dylan Warren then, making his way out of Luffield. Dylan making his first appearance of the season as a reserve in the Alpine. That was one massive moment coming through Luffield as he tried to get the power down the rear tyres, just screaming enough, but he is going to carry on with his lap at the moment as he makes his way now through that Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel section. And this is the other part of the track that makes it very, very difficult to overtake there, because even with the modern Formula 1 cars as Valentin Thijvard goes fastest, Dirtier really affects you out of Chapel, and it's only a short braking zone into Stowe, so quite often moves that you're choreographing way before you get to Cops. You're not completing before you're making your way through Vale and Club here.
Yeah, it's such an amazing run, and you only complete that run perfectly about once per weekend because it's so many different lines through the corners that you can't actually get it spot on. So I think it was Jenson Button who said he struggled most at Silverstone because of Maggots and Beckett's, because the car would react one way into the corners one lap, and you think that was perfect. The next lap, it'll be understeering, next lap oversteering. I think that's why Circuit of the Americas took it for the first sector, because it is just a perfect example of how to throw the car completely out of balance.
Yeah, because if you get too greedy on the way in, that's going to ruin you by the time you get to Chapel, or Circuit of the Americas obviously is quite a lot longer. It's all about just being nice and patient. It's all about trying to find that line. Of course, if you've got a car in front of you, you might be thinking, is it worth taking a slightly suboptimal line to make sure I get a bit of clean air, and then we'll see what we can do later on. All the different thoughts that the drivers have got to do. Will Lewis, his only thought at the moment, is getting himself towards the top of the standings. Not had the greatest qualifyings of late, but shoves himself in towards the top four for now. Thijvard, Baena, Hoffland, Lewis, Cohen, Akinci, West, Fassi, Suriano, and Caden Lutt. Your top 10 drivers, 1.5 tenths of a second separating that top 11 at the moment. 4 tenths separating the entire field, apart from Jeffrey Ritchie, who's the only man yet to set a lap time.
Yeah, that's disappointing as well. He's on one now, and his second time, I think, was it 27 in that middle part, so that looked okay. Through Maggots and Beckett, still flying it through. Now, fingers crossed, he actually has a good run down the Hanger Straight into Stowe, 8th gear. He can flat out pull it down to 7th, flick the car in. He's gone all the way down to 5th and had to go back up the gears. That's not an optimal line whatsoever. He's lost a lot of time there.
Yeah, looked as though he had a bit of understeer on that car as well, and I think just a tiny little bit of a wobble. This is making his way through Vale and Club. This is going to be, again, one of them middle-of-the-road lap times, and in fact, puts himself still in last place. But he has got a time on the board now, a 10th gap to the nearest car in a tier this competitive. Very unexpected indeed. And we are getting drivers coming out at quite different times and with quite different rhythms. Normally, we get a lull period before the banzai part of qualifying, as Chris Buxton likes to call it. Chris on holiday at the moment, so he won't mind me stealing that phrase. But yeah, we've got drivers heading out there already. Ika Baena on a hot lap at the moment, and he is improving in the first sector. So we'll see what our championship leader can do as he now makes his way through that aforementioned Maggots, Beckett and Chapel section of the track. We'll see what his sector time is as he comes through sector 2. His teammates gone fastest at the moment, and Baena 43 thousandths up. Does not need to find a lot of time here, and he could be making it a Haas 1-2, just over 3 minutes remaining.
Oh, it's been like this all season long. Haas always being dominant. Oh, it's boxed. Oh, okay. That's an interesting call. He's not happy. He wants a new set of tyres, a bit more fuel in maybe, and go again.
Yeah, that was a, all I can think of is he must feel like he's got more time in hand, clearly set better times at some point, and thinks, you know what, I can go out again. I've got time to go out again, and he has just about got that time to go out again. And after I said we don't normally get a lull period, we've got one at the moment, because there is only one car out there, and that is our provisional pole sitter. 2 poles so far this season, still yet to taste that victory. Will we see Ismail Fassi on the top step tonight? If he does, he will be taking the lead of the championship from his teammate. Gunther Steiner has got history of 2 Hassers having some dramatic moments around Silverstone. Back in 2019, the infamous Rich Energy days, where Grosjean and Magnussen seemed to spend more time crashing into each other than they did scoring points, to be perfectly honest, that season. No such problems for them so far, but as the championship goes on, it is going to be interesting to see how the 2 compatriots play it with each other. Fassi fastest so far. Ika Baena in 3rd, Valentin Thijvard splitting the 2 of them, as now we're getting a few more cars heading out onto the circuit, and it is going to be the former Xbox driver, the former Xbox champion, I believe, here at PSGL. Well, let's see what Caden Lutz can do. Down in 10th place, but he's only, what, 0.173 off pole position. Only finds, what, 100th in each corner, and he's got a chance of pole. I make it sound easy.
I know. I can't believe how close this grid actually is. Everybody is done a 126 point. It's insane. It's 6/10 separating the entire field with 2 minutes to go. They're all heading out on the track now. This is going to be a bonanza-style lap time, and everybody is going to have guns out. It's just going to be fantastic. My money for pole position, I'm going to stay Ismail Fassi. I think he's got something there that nobody else has. I'll stay. He's going to do a 126 point. Oh, never mind. He's retired. Perfect.
Yeah, what he's got at the moment is probably one of the best seats in the house to watch the final 85 seconds and change of qualifying. Let us know in the chat who you think is going to be taking pole position. Will it be Ismail Fassi, or will we see some of those a bit further back? Just find that last little improvement that they need to get themselves onto the top step for qualifying and giving themselves a brilliant chance of taking the victory here in the F2 PC PSGL British Grand Prix. Caden Lutz then, as he throws his car in towards RB. Of course, this new section of the circuit was used in 2010, even though they didn't have the pits there until 2011. It is all looking nice and neat from him at the moment. The reserve driver only raced once this season. That was last time out at Monaco, finishing in 7th place. Let's see what the Alfa Romeo driver can do then as he makes his way towards the first sector timing split at the moment, and he's already 28 thousandths up, which crazily would get him onto the 3rd row of the grid at the moment, even if he doesn't find any more improvements. This could be a very good lap for Caden.
It's absolutely perfect. Clipping the tarmac, coming out of Woodcote down towards Copse Corner as well. Does he stay flat? Does he drop to 7th? Drop to 7th. Rides the rev limiter. Goes all 4 off. Does he lose a lap time? Yes, he does. That's a shame. Such a shame.
Yeah, it was brave, optimistic, but yeah, not ideal for him whatsoever. And I think, as well, there's no thinking about it. You don't need to be a mathematician to work out. With 3, 2, 1 second left, as the checkered flag drops, he is not going to have a chance to set another lap time. So 10th is the best that he's going to be able to do. Chanakinchi didn't make it to the line in time. So 7th is all he's going to be able to do. Let's wait and see as Jack West makes his way around the final part of the circuit. Could do a good result to sort of reinvigorate his championship as Caden Lutz gets out of the way in quite dramatic fashion. West towards the line, with Vigilling on the front row.
126, 192, an amazingly close time as well. Richie's been disqualified for parked in a dangerous location. Well, that's a disappointment. Now, here comes Duncan Hoffland out the last corner. Is it going to be a quicker time? No, stays in 5th.
Ika Bayena's flying though. Bayena is absolutely flying. He's got a car parked on the apex zone. Bayena towards the line. 126.080, and he does take pole position from his teammate. Can anyone get close to that? I mean, we said if you beat a 126.0, you are probably going to be on pole. That's what someone is going to have to do now. At the moment, Will Lewis towards the line. He can only stay in 7th place for now. Valentin Diamond, 126.025 from the fast Frenchman. He takes pole position. But now Harvey Cohen, can he find any improvements? Bit of a wobble through the final corner. Stays in 9th place for now. Sander Van Dijken. Don't think there was any improvement for him. And it is Valentin Diamond, the qualifying king, on pole position here at Silverstone.
That came out of absolutely nowhere. That was fantastic. I really thought Ika Banaya would have had it. But what was the gap? 55 thousandths of a second was the gap. That's unbelievable. You really are the flying Frenchman.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, absolutely brilliant for him. I don't know why we're even surprised anymore, but it is Valentin Diamond on pole position. Then Ika Bayena 2nd, Ismail Fassi in 3rd place. West, Suriano, Koya, Hoffland, Lewis, Cohen, and Chanakinchi rounded out your top 10. Just 1,000th of a second separated for 2 McLarens. Lutz, Van Dijken, Charbon, Conye, Hardy, Warren, Miklevcic, Puki, Poland, Older, and Jeffrey Ritchie, who would have been last anyway before his disqualification. That's for 20 drivers. We'll be back after this short break. Welcome everyone to Silverstone then, the home of the British Grand Prix. 5.891 kilometres, 3.660 miles, the 2 DRS zones. Who is going to be able to claim victory today? Joshua Birch around what is quite an overcast Silverstone circuit. Those dry weather forecasts won't be feeling so confident at the moment.
I know, and to say that they were going to have a dry race, now it's going to look like it's going to be an intermittent race. You've got to think about the two Hasses. So Bainaya and Fassi, they've been quick, but I think Will Lewis might deliver something out there. We've got 30 seconds to go until the start. This is going to be absolutely spectacular. I honestly have no clue. I think with the weather conditions, starting on the hard tyres the right thing, then possibly going medium at the end. But we're going to see a very long first stint, whatever tyre they choose, before that rain comes.
Yeah, let's not forget Spain, where the two Hasses got caught out by pitting early on and then being on the wrong tyres by the time that the rain came. So let's wait and see what happens here at Silverstone, as we have got... Oh, I didn't realise we've got this. We have got a formation lap. We're hyping that up for everything. We have got a formation lap. It has been a while, folks, since we've had one of these, so we can easily check to see what tyres everyone is on for. And apart from Janakinchi, they've all gone for the medium. So that says to me, rain is coming, but quite early on.
Yeah, that's a disappointment to me. Oh, hang on, no. Yeah, you said about Kanichi going on hard tyres, the only one to gamble. That's a wise gamble for me, because the rain at Silverstone can either come very quickly or it won't come at all. So I would always go hard. I don't see why they've gone medium. Pace, yes, but now we're going to have a bit of an interesting race to see who it's going to benefit. So if you're starting on the mediums, you're going to have to pit around about that 12 to 15 to fit hard tyres anyway. So we're expecting what, rain? First 12 laps out of 26? Okay, 2 half race then. Yeah,
it's going to be quite an interesting one with that one here as well. So we've got a formation lap. We've heard rumours that this is working, but there is still the odd occasion where someone's going to end up with 70-degree tyres, and that is going to be a bit of a nightmare. So anyone's going to enjoy it if they end up on 70-degree tyres in this one. But it is Thivard on pole position, Baena in second place. Chavakic is going to have quite a difficult first few laps, I think, on those hard tyres. But if the rain, and the forecast never massively the best accurate thing, you never know. If the rain goes on a bit longer, things could just start coming towards Janakinchi. This is going to be a very intriguing race indeed. Let us know your predictions in the chat. Big predictions in the commentary box. I'm just feeling that those two Hasses could be a bit unstoppable, to be perfectly honest with you. As someone who's already having a bit of trouble, as has been well noted by the chat by Riley, is that Primoz Miklavčić has had a bit of a spin on the formation lap.
Oh yeah, right at the back, having to go right through the field. And this is why we don't usually have the formation lap, because not many people have tested it, and also it's a different type of formation. You have to manually line up in your box now, and as you said, the 70-degree tyres also cause problems. Hopefully it's fixed, hopefully it's okay, and oh, hang on a minute, now we're seeing everybody wasn't actually in the box correctly. So Tivad, look at that, disqualified, been put out of the box slightly weird. This could be an entertaining race.
Yeah, this could be very entertaining. Let's wait and see what happens here as the final cars are in position. Everyone will be lined up, and we will be able to get underway with the British Grand Prix. We've got 5 lights. They go out and we're underway here at Silverstone. What are the starts like? It seems like a pretty decent start there, but contact already between Fassi and his teammate nearly. Fassi getting massive wheel spin over second phase of the start. But it's Taiwan who leads. Fassi in second place. Samo Konyi out of this race as Jack West is off as well. We've got a spinner in the Williams, and that has already led to a virtual safety car. Absolute carnage, and we're not even out of sector 1.
It's got to be the tyres. I can think of no other reason for them to be slipping and sliding in that first corner. Tyres, I don't think were up to temperature to cause that much problem. So already drama, already that's put Jack West at the back. That's a disappointment after such a great qualifying. I'd be very surprised if they don't red flag and restart this one, to be fair, but we have gone underway. But that has already put one of the Mercedes out of the race.
I'm just hoping that it wasn't tyres at the moment, but that sort of Jack West, that is cool. It's got a 3-second time penalty already. I think it was, was it Ika Baena initially? Had that massive bit of wheel spin. That did look to me as though those rear tyres were pretty cold on his car, and I think some of that just caused...
870. Yeah, it was. They were all at 70. They're all Max has just put in 70%. Is like, yeah, this is not okay. Well, that's a disappointment. Formation lap shouldn't have been on. Was problem now with the fact it's massively displaced the field. As a neutral, I would say keep going because this is going to be an exciting race now. But as a sporting integrity, I want to see what happens next with the stewards. It looks like everything red flag at restart.
Yeah, we'll wait and see what happens. I think we are going to, hopefully we'll get a decision pretty soon. But it's Tybard leading the way then. Fassi in second, Suriano in third. If we don't get a restart, of course, these are a bit longer laps than we'd normally get, as we are now back to green flag racing to finish the first lap of this race. 1 minute 48 isn't really the fastest lap time, as you can see the position changes there. Obviously, Chavo Gagne losing out massively. He's out of the race, but Koya and Jack West also finding themselves in a bit of trouble. Primoz Miklocic, perhaps having warmed his tyres up by spinning earlier on, he was the biggest winner of all of that. He has gained 6 places. And what I was going to say before we went back to the green flag, of course, is that now, you know, it's bad news for Chanakinchi. I'd say it's good news for everyone on the set of the mediums, because that's probably, you know, a slower first lap means the rain's going to come slightly earlier on in the race.
Yeah, less time then to take these mediums to look after them, less meaning that you've got to take these 2 to 3 laps longer because we never know when the rain's going to hit. So that virtual safety car right at the start might have been the perfect opportunity. And also because of the formation lap, they had heat in them, well, some of them did, at least hopefully, when the race started. So higher tire temperatures, cooler first lap. Effectively, they've had 2 formation laps. Perfect. Tyres are now in a good heat sink. We'll see what happens with it.
Yeah, Bis Van Pook is going to have to do his best Charles Leclerc impression here. He's got to drag a Ferrari around this circuit as long as possible with a broken front wing. He's had an incident and he drops towards the back of the field as we've got Caden Lutz all over the back of Harvey Cohen at the moment. We'll see if he makes a move into Stowe. No, all staying single file for now, but he's not further back. Xander Van Dijken and Chanakinchi going side by side there. That's going to be a Kinchi surely getting forced off of the circuit, but he has made his way through. Van Dijken up into 11th. And Kinchi is now in 12th place on those hard tyres. Gap at the front of the field, half a second.
Look at Harvey Cohen. He just got past Keelan Lutz as well, but now Tycho Hardy's right at the back of him in the Aston Martin. So those battling for 7, 8 and 9 getting very close together. And this is what we were talking about in the qualifying. As soon as we hit the slow first sector, they all start to bunch up. But hopefully when the DRS gets activated, it should have been this lap, we'll see them. Yes, we have got DRS pulling down their straight. And now look, we're going to go left and right. To the inside goes Tycho Hardy and gets through. Brilliant move, does he? No. That keeps the inside line. So that's a disappointment.
Yeah, it's just sort of the way that Brooklands works. And this is what I love about this new part of the circuit. That you get moves starting there. You'll be nearly at the end of the lap by the time they're finished. They can go on for so long. Of course, at this earlier stage, I think drivers are going to be a bit more careful and a bit more circumspect, shall we say. They're not going to go diving in for anything silly. At this point, we're only on lap 3 out of 26. There's still a long way to go here. And there is still the British weather to play a part, we believe, looking at the clouds and looking at the tyre choices from everyone. Ismail Fassi closing in on Valentin Tybard. This should be a fairly straightforward move for the lead. Down the inside goes the Spaniard at Stowe. And that is Ismail Fassi in towards the lead of this race. Is Tybard going to try and fight it back? He thought about it round the outside into Vale. In the end, though, decides to stay put. Fassi, our new leader, as we approach the end of lap 3.
Just thinking, is he going to get the run down towards it? Fassi's done a 1:29.873, taking the fastest lap. But can Thyroid get something? Sweeping through Abbey, keeping flat out through Farm. Heavy on the brakes in towards Village as well. Down to around about 3rd gear. Control the wheel spin so you don't spin the rear tyres up. It's pretty similar to what we happened at Turn 1 in Bahrain. Tight into the loop then. And now just gradually press the accelerator and rise up the gears through Aintree. Open up the DRS then down the Wellington straight towards Brooklands, and don't see him making a move, but he was visibly closer. Now, if we can get a good exit out of Luffield, and look at that, it's starting to rain. It is starting to rain. So it's come way early. They should have really started on the soft. It is starting to rain.
Yeah, and this is, you know, I think with the formation lap and that lap under the safety car, this has just made things a bit more interesting. Someone who was already struggling and is now really going to struggle. Chanakinchi, he's on a set of hard tyres. He's dropped all the way down from what was 10th early on to 14th place. You know, apart from those that have been involved in incidents earlier on, no one has lost more places than him. Now he's on the hard tyres, and he's just going to try and hope that he doesn't get caught out with the weather. It is a long circuit here. In terms of time, we're about average, talking roughly, as you've seen already, roughly around 90-second lap times As there goes Valentine Thibon, thinking about a move on Fassi. Not this time, and into the pit come our front two. Suriano stays out. Oh! Thibon wipes out the pit lane speed limit board, and that catches out so many drivers behind him. He's got a penalty. Baena has a penalty. Hoffland has a penalty.
This is insane. It's raining quite hard with the droplets in the pit lane as well. Everyone's going to go on intermediate tyres. Every single team is out there. It's like lap 1 at the Nürburgring back in 2007. Everyone changing for intermediate tyres already. No one luckily missed the pit lane. Haas having to queue both of their drivers. That's how crucial it is for the championship predicament. But who's that one who's going to take the net lead of the race? It's going to be Valentine again. He's going to have the net lead as everyone goes uphill towards turn 2.
He's got the net lead, but he's got 5 seconds of penalty. As has Duncan Hoffland, as has Ika Baena. Jack West has 3 seconds. You're in Poland. He's got 5 seconds as well for something. Not quite sure what that is. And now we'll see whether the lap times come down. Oh, we've got yellow flag. We've got a... is that
virtual safety car.
Is that a full safety car?
It's full safety car. Well, what's happened to cause that? Because nobody's out of the race.
And Valentine's got a drive-through.
Just speeding out of the safety car. Well, what is going on now? There's the safety car, look, on the inside down the Wellington Straight, sending everybody past it because they're not the leaders. So that means that the top 4, who sort of got unlucky by not coming into the pit lane out, the track's absolutely flooded, will get a free pit stop onto the intermediate tyres. And now it is Mirko Serrano who has the effective lead of the race. Brilliant! But what's caused the safety car?
Oh, your guess is as good as mine. Josh, answers in the chat. Anyone as to what caused that safety car? Was it the marshals deciding that the polystyrene board in the pit lane clearly needed tidying up? I mean, you can see on board with Mirko Suriano. If it wasn't for that safety car, he would be absolutely stuffed at the moment. Needs to be so gentle on the way into the pit lane, and I think wisely taking it very slowly indeed. So into the pit comes Mirko Suriano from the race lead. I think he's got a fantastic plan. In fact, he will be. He'll be comfortably leading this race by the time that he comes out of the pit lane. As well, Valentine Thibon stuck behind Jack West at the moment. But of course, West's on mediums, and Thibon shoots his way down the inside. Jack West lost his front wing. That might be why we've got a safety car.
Has he made contact, I wonder, with Jordan Poland? Because remember, Poland dropped 7 seconds. He's coming to the pit lane now. So I wonder if they made contact somewhere on the track and they've been stationary too long, and that's what's triggered the full safety car. Because don't forget, we had all those cars in the pit lane. I wonder if it's triggered something.
All I can think of is there's been a contact at some point with drivers swinging around, and I don't think anyone really knows what happened. What we do know, Mirko Suriano leads this race. Ismail Fassi in second, well, Lewis in third, but he's just picked up a 3-second time penalty for some reason. Dylan Warren and Caden Lutt are swapping around, which is not what you like to see. This could go on a while, folks, and I think they're right. The villain of the year, Mr. Kryptonite, is going to have a lot of work to do at the moment. Yeah. And poor Valentine Thibon, I mean, he's into the pits again now, but he won't be able to serve his drive-through penalty until after the safety car. Like, just
this is insane.
For whatever reason, things never go well for him in the race.
We were worried that Silverstone was going to be boring. This has turned into an absolutely fantastic race, and it's given the Ferrari the lead of the race. Fassi's directly behind him, and he has changed over to intermediate tyres. But what's happened? Yeah, so Valentine's pitted again for intermediate tyres, so presumably there was something wrong, because he hasn't come in to serve that penalty, he said, so he's dropped down to 19th position. So unless he's hit something else. But the field has been thrown in the air, blown up by a rocket, and yet now it's depositing all of its ashes around the track, and we still have got no idea who the actual leader of the race should be because of everything. I mean, welcome to Silverstone at Christmas.
Yeah, I mean, we said there was going to be, something pretty interesting happening around this. We've got some, we've definitely got a good present for you guys watching at home, because this has been a fascinating start to the race. I'm only on lap 6 at the moment. You can see the biggest position changes there. Matthew Alder, 19th to 9th at the moment. Dylan Warren on his return for the top tier, 15th to 4th, taking advantage of that safety car. And hey, sometimes you make your own luck at the moment, and that seems to have happened, for the likes of definitely Suriano, Warren, and I think Alder and Ritchie as well. Staying out has helped them so much at the moment. Chanakinchi not lost anywhere near as much in that as I thought he would have done. He's actually gained a couple of places with all the chaos that's obviously happened. I think for Thibon, Jack West, and a few of the others. Duncan Hoffland losing out quite a lot. He's now down there in 17th place. Ika Baena, because of the double stack, The man who, let's not forget, started on the front row of the grid, is now down in 18th.
I mean, can you just pause just this race for a second? What I wouldn't give for a red flag feature right about now, just to sort of regroup and get everything in the right order. This is insane. So, nobody's on softs, just so that someone in the chat know, Riley, let know in the chat. No one's on soft. They've all changed over to intermediates now. Some of them are 2 laps old, some are 1 lap old. The rain has come down. I'm wondering, because it's still quite heavy, are we going to have to go over to the full wet tyres? We haven't seen that, have we, actually? Full wet tyres for a long, long time. I don't think since Monaco last year that I've commented on it was full wets. So this could be quite entertaining. But the field is bunching up and sort of having to jolt out the way of each other. It's not a clean line.
Yeah, it's quite wild at the moment. And let's not forget, when the safety car restarts, it is going to be by far the wettest the track has been, and the first flying lap anyone's done on a set of the intermediate. Because the safety car came out, I think, before Valentin Thibard had even got to the end of the pit. So
it came out immediately.
This is going to be a very interesting, I think, safety car restart here for everyone. You can see the tyres there. Basically, everyone is on the same life of tyres, and we know that everyone can get those towards the end of the race, judging by what happened on the PlayStation side of the things, and a few laps on the safety car should help things as well. Safety car is coming in next lap. I think if anyone has got any bets on at the moment, you can pretty much rip them up. Who knows what is going to happen, and hopefully we'll be able to get 19 green flag laps underway here at Silverstone as Mirko Soriano leads them around, taking it very gingerly indeed, and who can blame him?
Tell you what, it's making me dizzy, actually, all those cars going side to side. It's giving me a headache. They're all desperately trying to get tyre temperature in as Sorano's going to hit the gas, probably out of Vale, because otherwise you're going to be risking lock-ups in these conditions.
Yeah, we'll see what in fact, no, he's gone quite a bit earlier, so he's gone already on the run in towards Vale, taking it quite steady through there at the moment, but it looks like Soriano has called it pretty much perfectly then for this safety car restart, and we are back to green flag running then. Soriano leads the field away. Fassi in second. Lewis in third. Dylan Warren all over the back of Will Lewis. In fact, at the moment, if anything, probably a bit too close through Abbey. We see him just losing the back of the car a bit. Is he going to dive a move down the inside? DRS will have been disabled, of course. We're not going to see any of that as Valentin Thibard. He's now making his way down the pit lane to serve his drive-through penalty as Matthew Alder going side by side with Zander Van Dijken here round the outside. That's not going to work for him, and that might just give Mr. Hardy a bit of a chance to make a move on the run down towards the Wellington straight. But so far, looks like it has been a fairly clean restart, but the front two starting to escape.
Yeah, already 5/10 gap between them, and then a 9/10 gap to Will Lewis as well. So they've got the perfect restart. They've also got the best of the conditions. Everyone's behind, having to struggle with spray, and of course the car not working well in these conditions. We know they don't work well anyway when the track gets damp. We've seen that before. And can Matthew Alder get on the inside? No, he can't. Now look at Will Lewis up in third position. As we say, he's falling back into Dylan Warren's clutches. But this is just all over the place at the moment. And Poland has got another 3-second time penalty.
Yeah, I think Kopp's just captured out John in Poland there at the moment. I mean, looking at this camera angle from Matthew Alder, things don't look too bad at the moment. If it stays like this, we're not going to be seeing, I don't think, set of the wet tyres. And everyone is going to try and see if they can just take the tyres that they are on until the end of the race, of course. Duncan Hofland, he's looking pretty close to the back of Jack West at the moment. A winner in Monaco. Down the inside, in towards Stowe he goes, but the nature of that corner just makes it so difficult to get any overtakes done. In towards Vale, not this time around, so Duncan Hofland is now having to just settle for 17th place. Rich is saying, how is he get 18th? I'm not quite sure. I think the double stack in the pit lane really costing him throughout early on in the race it is, but he is way down there in 18th at the moment. And if the race finished as it is, it would be his teammate leading the championship going into the Christmas break as Jack West all over the back of John in Poland at the moment, and this might just give Duncan Hofland a bit of an opportunistic dive down the inside, perhaps.
Perfect move if he can keep on the accelerator, don't go over the rumble strip, and that's why contact between the two of them, just a little bit of rubbing. Jack's on the outside coming towards Brooklands. He's not giving him any room. They're so close to contact. Jack's almost having to break from the grass. He's going to try and hold him around the outside, coming on the inside Luffield, but no, Duncan shut the door perfectly. What a move, and look behind the Haas, and Michael Benaya's out to try and have a go.
Yeah, he is. Baena trying to get involved in all this, and that all started with West being the one trying to go for the move, of course. Couldn't quite make it pull off. And that allowed John in Poland to get away and allowed Duncan Hofland to take 16th place. There's going to be a lot of post-race penalties and different things into this race, so who knows what could happen by the end of it. Will Lewis looks to have recovered his pace a bit. He's now closing onto the back of Ismail Fassi. He's back within a second. Zander Van Dijken, he's dropped back. He's 1.2 off the back of Primoz Miklavčić. We missed Miklavčić getting into the top 10 all of a sudden. He was facing the wrong way on the formation lap, let's not forget. Daniel Koya on the back of Jeffrey Ritchie. Ritchie's gone way too deep in towards Stowe. Thank you very much. That's probably one of the easiest overtakes you're going to see all day around this circuit. The Alpha Tauri into 11th.
That was disappointing as well. Ritchie just not getting it in correctly as well. As you said, brake too late. The car just dragged him off wide, so the tyre temperatures aren't quite up to temperature out in the front. But perfect as well for Daniel to get up into 11th position. Now, look at the front as well, just quickly, because Amico Serrano and Ismail Fassi, 3 tenths between them, but they've pulled a second gap to Will Lewis, and their race is getting tasty. Despite them not having DRS, they have enough ERS power to make an attack on the payload. They saved all of it under the safety car, and they've been critical throughout the rest of these opening 3 laps since the restart. And the rain's coming down a lot heavier now.
Yeah, I was about to say, Josh, it is, compared to a couple of laps ago when we were looking on board with Matthew Alder, things are really starting to hammer it down around the Silverstone circuit. So, are we going to get to a point where we need wet tyres? And is it going to be worth coming into the pits for the wet tyres? As Duncan Hoffland and John in Poland, the old VSR teammates, trying to one-up each other at the moment. Hoffland just having to stay behind for now.
And Fassi as well. I went, whoa, because he had a massive snap coming through Woodcut as well. And I think the tyres now starting to struggle with the conditions. Oh, that's Jordan Poland just came straight on the front of the track in front of Duncan there as well. But Fassi's starting to struggle out there. I wonder if they're now going to be considering maybe the full wet tyres could be a way to go if this level of water increases.
Yeah, it's one of those. I feel like if you are going to go for the wets, you might have to commit a bit earlier as Alder getting very close to the back of Van Dijken there. Like I said, it's a long pit lane around here. If you decide to only go for the full wets with 5 or 6 laps to go, there's probably no more point, and you might as well just try snuggling around on a set of the intermediates. It's nowhere near as crucial as that crossover point between, you know, the slicks and the intermediate tyres. We do see in Formula 1, of course, the intermediates, they're good for pretty much all conditions. Once they've got a bit of slickness to them, you can use them as dry tyres, and as long as there's not tons of standing water, you can use them as full wet tyres. And when it does hammer it down and it's wet, in Formula 1, the wet tyres don't seem to be able to do anything really. Fastest lap at the moment is Ismail Fassi, so that's going to be a bonus point for him if he stays in the top 10. 16 points for a win here in PSGL, 12 for second, 10 for third, 8 for fourth, and 6 down to 1 for fifth, down towards 10th place. And that bonus point for the fastest lap, which is heading the way the Spaniard Ismail Fassi at the moment. I do think if you are someone a bit further back, if Jeff or Mark or whatever his name is now on this game, if he suggests that, you know, wet tyres might be worth the risk, I think if you're right down at the back of the field, if you're all the likes of, you know, a Hoffland, the West, Poland, Baena, Thibod, well, in Thibod, he might as well do what he wants at the moment. He's 50 seconds off the back. He's got no chance as Jeffrey Ritchie has a massive side through Cops. These intermediates are struggling.
Yeah, and we saw as well Kanakinchi just sort of lift off the power ever so slightly as well. He doesn't want to be running into the back and knocking off a front wing either. Let's see what he does then. Look at that. The wash of the other car is still affecting. You can't run closely in wet conditions. It was making Kanakinchi slide everywhere. And look at the time he lost down the hanger straight. He starts to catch up coming in through Stowe, down towards Vale. As a move further up as Matthew Alder finally gets ahead of Zander Van Dijken as well for 8th position. So perfect there, as I think, again, the Alpine was having a bit of trouble. And now, look, Matthew's become the leader of that train, and he's started to lose time. So as soon as you hit clear air, you hit the worst of the conditions. You're meeting the full impact of the rain. You're not punching in air for everybody else behind you. You're not sitting in it either. So this could be really fun. It's up the inside. Tango Hardy makes a little bit of a snap as well. And that's, it's Van Dijken's gone wide. Van Dijken's off.
Yeah, Van Dijken had to, well, I was about to say he had to take evasive action there. He found an Aston Martin wheel making his way into the side of his Alpine. Not ideal whatsoever. I don't think Van Dijken will be too happy about that one. The door wasn't really open. Down the inside, though, goes Daniel Koya, who all of a sudden, being outside the points not so long ago, might find his way in towards 9th place. Tycho Hardy, though, holding on to this one. This is just allowing Matthew Alder to get away. And like you said, the issue is, if you're the first one to meet the conditions, especially when they're getting worse, you've got to be a bit more careful. You don't know if you can brake at the same point as everyone else. Side by side through Tops. They're going to go. Koya holding it around the outside. Hardy still there on the inside. And Jeffrey Ritchie, he's wanting to get his popcorn out watching this battle. Fantastic racing between the two of them. And that is Daniel Koya, who finally takes the place.
McLaren's right there too as well. This is fantastic. Throw in as well. Duncan Hoffman and Esteban Buki as well. They're all getting involved. Down the hanger straight we go towards Stowe. The McLaren might fancy a little move. Coming into Stowe. Can he get the inside look? He's thought about it. But Jeffrey Ritchie shut the inside door. Can't do anything about it. Tiger Hardy can't get anything on Daniel Coulter as well. But this is critical at the moment. Into Vale, the Ferrari under a bit of pressure as well for Duncan Hoffman. Brilliant.
Yeah, Xander Van Dijk had 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane, and he retires from the race, and becoming our second retirement after we lost Ben Sabo Konyi right at the start. That seems like an absolute lifetime ago now. We are nearly at the halfway point of this race as Duncan Hoffman, last week's winner, trying to work his way up through the field at the moment. He's scored points in each of the last 3 races, and he's really, and we have a fantastic chance of taking the championship at the moment round the outside of X-Van Pookie. I'm not quite sure that one's going to work. You'll find yourself getting onto the curb, and there's not a lot of grip out there, my friend, almost into the back of Pookie, almost spinning the car around completely. And that would have been game over, I think, certainly, for Duncan Hoffman. Round the outside, he's going to go for the move down at Brooklands. If he can get the overlap, that's the inside for Luffield, but not able to do so. And I agree with Jess, it still looked, especially on the previous lap, as they were making their way around Stowe, definitely looked as though the rain was coming down harder.
The McLaren was look on the inside as well. That was kind of Kinchi up here, but he's still side by side. They've gone side by side through Cobb's corner, and they're still battling together. Now, on the inside comes Jeffrey Ritchie. McLaren holds the inside line, coming through Magnuson. Beckett's once more. How? And there is a little bit of wheel rubbing, but that was it. Fabulous couple of corners.
I'm not quite sure how this hasn't ended in some sort of like aeroplane crash almost around here at the moment. It's been ridiculous what they've been doing in the wet. Let's not forget, but I think they know they've got to do it. As there goes Akinci round the outside of Ritchie, and it's from Pookie. It's like the Red Sea's parted for the Ferrari here. All of a sudden, Pookie down the inside of one. Can he go round the outside of the other one? Ritchie's going to try and hold it on. Pookie has still got his car alongside. He's made it work, and now Chad Akinci says, "Thank you very much, sir. I will make my way through that door as well." Pookie into 11th, Ritchie down into 13th. He could be into 14th now because here comes Hoffland.
Hoffman's going to try and come through on the inside line. This is fantastic. Ritchie's going to be like a pawn. He's got Jordan Rust there as well on the outside. Ritchie goes wide, takes the Hamilton line, brings on the inside line. That's Leclerc. Does touch the back of Hoffman. Fantastic. Kanakichi's escaping ahead. The two Williamses in a battle. This is amazing stuff, and it's all being caused by the wet weather.
Yeah, and let's not forget, while all this has happened, that's now allowed Hardy, Koya, and Alder to escape quite a bit. And this is only a battle for... This is not even a battle for points anymore. This is a battle for 11th place at the moment. This is pretty crazy what we're seeing. Further back as well, Ikabayeda. He's managed to make a move work on Jack West. Should have that one complemented on. That is our championship leader down in 16th. But as things stand at the moment, it will be Ismail Fassi leading the championship, but he's not leading the race. That is the only man who has scored points in every race so far this season. And as it stands at the moment, he's going to be claiming his second victory of the season. Long way to go, though. Mirko Suriano leads this race by 0.6 of a second from Ismail Fassi. Valentin Thibard, I think we're certainly going to see the DNF go next to his name. Valentin Thibard retires from this race. And I'd say the rain, yes, it is worse than it was earlier on, as Duncan Hoffman works his way past Chanakinchi into 12th place. The rain is worse than what it was earlier on, but doesn't seem to have reached the next...
Iker went off the track, and that's allowed Jack West back on the inside line, coming into Vale. Iker, by now, the championship leader, is last. He's been mugged coming through the last sector. Got it too wide. So that's a big disappointment. I said in qualifying, you've got to come here, keep your head after a week off, and he's lost it.
I mean, we've seen a few drivers. We saw Jeffrey Ritchie do it earlier on, just go a bit deep in towards Stowe, and then that is opening the door for everyone. But yeah, it's chaos at the moment. I think everyone knows it's the last race of the season, well, not the season,
this
the last
year,
race of 2022, and any potential grudges might be forgot by the time we're at Portimao in a couple of weeks' time. It's fantastic racing, but it's a bit more touring car than you normally see here in PSGL F2. At the front, though, there's not really been too much racing. I mean, right from the start of the race, those front 7, since the safety car came in, they've been line astern, and we haven't really seen, apart from the first lap of green flag racing on lap number 8, I believe it was, we haven't really seen too many attempts at a move in these top 7. And that's allowed them to pull away.
Yeah, they've got, 3 seconds to Matthew Alder as well, as Duncan Hoffman now gets... Oh, no! Duncan Hoffman now gets a 3-second time penalty, and he was making his way up through the ranks as well, so that's another one added to the list. Will Lewis running 3rd, but with that penalty, will actually drop back to 7th position, so this isn't working at all.
Yeah, not really working for him at the moment, and I was going to say, before Caballena had his off, the rain has got worse, but we haven't seen an extra level of that intensity since then. So I think as long as it stays like this, everyone's going to be going intermediates at the moment. We're hearing it might have been a double warning for Will Lewis. If it was and he can get that removed, he's still got a chance of getting 3rd place. But if not, it's going to be Dylan Warren in 3rd place on his return to PCF2. Not bad whatsoever. Quite a crazy way to do it. Still a long way to go though. Still 11 laps in this race. Still the battling is going on further behind. Duncan Hoffman now all over the back of Istvan Pukki, but it looks as though things are starting to calm down at this point of the race. I don't think they're going to stay calm for too long, though.
No, as soon as the next train starts to form as well, we'll have the battle as well. And this is the thing around Silverstone. It is like you're racing an IndyCar oval, sort of. As soon as you start battling with somebody, you lose a lot of time, and the people behind are not that too far, so they come into the battle. It is literally, you trying to make a move, you better hope and pray you get ahead, otherwise you're going to go backwards. So it's that type of mentality. IndyCar drivers who have done both, the 500 and Silverstone, and on the high-speed circuits, say they love it so much because it is like racing an oval. It's that same mentality. Keep the speed high, keep the track position high, and only go for moves when you are 100% sure you can get ahead. Otherwise, it's pointless.
Yeah, and I feel like Ismail Fassi, he's wishing he had the DRS at the moment, because then this attempt on the back of Mirko Soriano perhaps wouldn't be quite as pointless. But with both of them having very healthy battery percentages, both around 70%, not a lot Fassi can do for now. He's quite happy to just stick behind Mirko Soriano, who, let's not forget, as things stand at the moment, Soriano would only be 5 points off the championship lead as well, coming into the final 5 races. It looks like Fassi, if he could go for the move, he'd be able to, but in these wet conditions, and with his teammate being further back, and with Lewis, Warren, Luck, Cohen and Miklavčić not being too far behind, not worth the risk at this stage. But I think in the next few laps, we are going to see Fassi going for it, because he's certainly starting to push that Ferrari around.
I know, it's literally like I'm sat here with a fishing rod on board with him. I just want to reel him in quicker and quicker and quicker. The Haas of Ismail Fassi looking amazing through the corners as well. He hasn't lost any time, and in fact, Soriano goes a little bit too deep coming into Brooklands. I thought Ismail Fassi might get him. He's looking to the outside, coming through Luffield, taking the tighter second apex line, gently on the throttle as they come towards Woodcut as well. He is visibly quicker. It's only because it's Silverstone he's not already past him. He can't find the correct way to do it.
Yeah, and I think if it was right, he'd have been shooting past him at the moment. If there was a proper heavy braking zone, I think he might have tried to send one down the inside as Miklavčić. He now gets a 3-second time penalty. That's going to bring Matthew Alder and perhaps Daniel Koya into play later on in this race. So we'll keep an eye on that one. I think, again, just not quite close enough. And Fassi burnt a lot of ERS on this lap. He's now about 15% less than Mirko Soriano. And it just hasn't quite worked out for the Spaniard. He's just going to have to wait. He's forced a tiny little mistake out of Mirko Soriano. He'll know that. And that might be somewhere where he just tries to push a bit harder next time around to see if he can just force another chink in the armour from the Italian at the moment as they make their way around club for the 17th time. 9 more to go here at Silverstone. The PSGL PCF2. Soriano leads. Fassi in second. Will Lewis in third. Warren, Lutz, Cohen, Miklavčić, Alder and Koya, the drivers in the points at the moment. 2 weeks ago's winner, Duncan Hoffman, still not able to make his way past Istvan Pukki.
It is getting worse out there as well. You see the sort of spray getting hit up as well into the front as well. So this is getting entertaining on board then with Duncan. Can he find a way through on Istvan Pukki as well? Coming through Village. You can take the wide line through the loop. It tightens your exit up towards Aintree. You can see how much time he was able to gain. Back on the pass, 6th gear. A little bit of oversteer, using some of the ERS, 7th gear, 8th gear, hold that. As you go down towards Brooklyn, slamming the brakes down to 5th gear in the wet conditions. He's actually on to 4th. He's still driving as if it's dry out there, not wet. So that's what's costing me a couple of tenths in the corners. If you stay in 5th gear, you get less wheel spin as soon as you gently push the accelerator.
Yeah, we saw him I mean, just shows, I think, how difficult it can be and how much power and torque these cars have when he was making his way out of A-Train. 6th gear, nice and easy in the wet, in the dry. He's having to put a bit of opposite lock, well, nice and easy in the dry, sorry, in the wet. He's having to put a bit of opposite lock on to stop the car changing ends on his own. I think Pookie might have had some slight connection issue there for a second. Oh, my heart skipped a beat. You don't want to be doing that to a man who's been ill for a bit there. There was a sharp intake of breath on my end there all of a sudden. And Duncan Hoffland, after all that, might be able to make a move work here. All of a sudden, he's going to have to go the long way round at Stowe. And Istvan Pookie just holds on for now. Is that the switchback, though, from Hoffland? Not on this occasion, but he is a lot closer. As at the front, Soriano still holding on from Ismail Fassi for now.
I think Duncan Hoffland proving that he is a Hoff as well by going into the back doors quite hard. But then again, that's a Christmas card. Anyway, Fassi on the inside, lightly touching the side of Soriano's Ferrari as well. This is just getting worse.
It's a good job it's after 9 p.m. That's all I can say after that one. Right, Ismail Fassi on the back of Mirko Soriano. They're not able to get ahead, but he's got closer, and I feel like it could be one of those where it is perhaps, a little bit of a dive, a little bit of a move down the inside into Village in the loop, and that might be where you get the move done. The issue is, this man, Will Lewis, is only 8/10 of a second behind at the moment, and if Fassi does that and it doesn't work, all of a sudden, he's back into play. Warren's back into play. Lutz, Cohen, Miklavcic back into play. Who knows what's going to happen with these penalties. I hope Kryptonite and the rest of the stewards weren't hoping for a nice little Christmas break. They're going to be sorting through turkey leftovers and stewards expiries for a long time as Fassi gets a penalty, and that is music to the ears of Mirko Soriano.
I can't understand why. That is disappointing beyond belief. Just, I think a little. Oh, and this man Puki's got one too. In fact, and Jordan Poland, half the field getting penalties for multiple warnings here. I think, is that due to cutting a certain part of the track coming to Maggots and Beckett's? It must be. So it's all 3 seconds. That's interesting.
Very interesting indeed. I mean, you can see the penalties there. Apart from Jordan Poland, it is all 3 seconds at the moment. What that does mean, and everyone in the chat's noticed it, Dylan Warren's on for a potential second place here. All of a sudden, Caden Law on for a podium on the PC. Again, there's double warnings and all sorts to be possibly taken into play here. But you don't know whether we're going to see the likes of Fassi and Lewis pick up the penalties. We don't know whether Soriano is going to pick up a penalty. We can't really afford to relax too much as Ismail Fassi. A bit like we saw from Duncan Hoffland earlier, the rear end of that car just swiveling and wobbling its way as he makes his way on towards the Wellington Straight. 6.5 laps to go. It is looking as though Soriano has soaked up the bit of pressure for now as Jack West gets a penalty. Let's not forget, right at the start of this race, it was overcast, it was dry, and we had all sorts of chaos after the formation lap. Bencho Charbaconye retiring recently before we got towards the first corner, and Jack West and I believe Daniel Coyer also getting involved in that. We then had drivers diving it into the pit when the rain started. We had a safety car before they left the pit lane. Mirko Soriano stayed out, took advantage of that safety car, and he has led ever since. And can he hold on for the remaining 6 laps and claim his second race of the season? Definitely got a brilliant chance of winning the championship if he keeps up this form after the winter break. Hoffland again, all over the back of Istvan Pookie, and I think they are now starting to just reel in a tiny bit. Tycho Hardy, who is perhaps dropping out, and that might be down to the fact, again, he's more used to racing on the PlayStation, so even though he's got the pace over, a smaller number of laps, this is where that consistency and maybe a bit less practice will start to show.
Just asking what was the pole time. It's a 1:26.0 as well. As we're going to yellow in the third sector, Jordan Poland has retired in the pit lane.
Has he made the pit lane?
I don't think he has, is he? He looks like he's just at the exit. Is that going to cause something? 21:26. It's not too late for a safety car because he's right on the pit entrance. I think, do you know what? I don't think he's even meant to. I think he's gone wide, lost it on the exit, spun up the rear tyres and hit the wall.
Yeah, I think he's just lost it at the exit of Stowe. I mean, we saw, I think it was Verstappen, wasn't it, of course, on his qualifying lap this year. Did something similar, but managed to keep it going and managed to keep it out the walls. A lot of drivers have lost it there. Jordan Poland, another one, but thankfully, I think for those at the front of the field, no safety car on this occasion. And I think we can now safely say we're not going to be seeing the full wet tyres either. We're going to be seeing these intermediates right towards the end, although the rain... Just trying to look at my screen. Has the rain actually stopped as I was saying that sentence?
I think it has, you know. I'm not seeing any rain anywhere. I'm looking on both monitors, yours and mine. Can't see any rain. I think we're good. So the track, hopefully, should start drying, which is more interesting. See what could happen.
Knowing this game, it's not going to dry too much, I don't think.
Yeah.
I wouldn't expect anyone to go on dry tyres at the moment. I think everyone is just going to be holding these intermediate tyres towards the end, but yeah, would definitely make things interesting. I think a final lap with DRS getting activated and spice things up quite a lot around this circuit. Will we see anyone further back attempt to move onto the dry tyres? I doubt it, because I think you're going to be on a hiding to nothing. You'll be joining Jordan Poland in the wall, and I think we could just see some skin marks heading off towards the pit lane then as, has someone actually come into the pits? Yeah, they have. It's from Pookie into the pits. This could only be for a set of slick tyres. He's getting no points anyway. So it's worth a gamble, but I can't see it working.
Is this a glory run on softs? It is. It is. It's soft tyres. Glory run on softs. And that'll be slipping and sliding more than the 1984 American team at the Winter Olympics.
That's a niche reference.
I can't remember the song. It goes da 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 na 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 na. That one.
Answers on the phone. Yeah, that one.
Bordeaux or something like that. It's a very popular one.
Yeah.
Ice skating.
I think, Pookie is going to be skating around. This is going to be we'll keep on board, I think, with this from Pookie for quite a bit and just see what happens with the lap times at the moment, because he is taking it so gingerly at the moment, and even then, you can't keep it facing in the right direction. I don't think we needed any evidence that the track wasn't ready for slicks, but if we did, there is, Exhibit A. This track is far too wet. It is going to be intermediate right towards the end of this race. And there's one Ferrari who's at the back of the field sliding his way around. The other Ferrari knows all he has to do, is keep it within the white lines for the next 4 laps, for the next 15 or so miles, and Mirko Suriano will be claiming his second victory of the season.
Yeah, just keep it on the terra firma and you've got it done. And I think as well, I can't see Dylan getting involved in changing for the lead. I was trying to calculate Ika Banaya as well to see where he would end up in the race. I think he'd actually end up 11th. So he won't even get into Tycho Hardy's 10th position. So no points for the championship leader.
Yeah, no points for the championship leader for the second race in a row. And that is why, as things stand at the moment, he is not going to be the championship leader, as Pookie is still going around at the moment, but you can see he's losing. He's just coming out of Baggett's, Beckett's and Chapel. He's lost about 2-3 seconds there, and he's now facing in the wrong direction once again. It was worth a shot at the back of the field, but I think it was 1 in a million chance of ever working successfully. It would have been a Christmas miracle if he was able to get any temperature in those tyres at the moment. It might have stopped raining, but it's still incredibly overcast here at the Silverstone circuit. Here's the view back from Mirko Suriano then. Fassi, Lewis, Warren. The furthest back Fassi's been for a bit, and the closest that Lewis and Warren have been for a bit. I wonder if he has got a double warning. I wonder whether we're going to see Will Lewis potentially think about making some moves and seeing what he could get happening in this race all of a sudden, as Pookie retires in the pit lane. The experiment did not work. He is our 5th retirement from this race. And another thing some of the drivers might have to start being careful of here. I know they've, done a few laps under the safety car, but these intermediate tyres are going to be getting pretty worn at this moment in time.
You read my mind as well, as Connor's just put in Dylan Warren as well. Don't count him out, so we know who the big boss is shouting for as well. But these tyres are going to start wearing quite quickly now because there's no supply of fresh water. It's supposed to be keeping them in their optimal range. Now the track's going to be starting to have some dry lines. I don't think appearing that much because I've just seen Surano's tyre coming through the first couple of corners and there's still water being thrown up from everywhere. So, yeah, it's just not going to be good enough, is it? You're going to start feeling the degradation.
Yeah, I mean, if there were another 5 or 6 laps, then possibly things would be in trouble. But as James Campo said, if I grab my wheel, should be a bike. It's a 26-lap race at the moment. There's only 2.5 to go, and everyone will be able to hold on the intermediate tyres as Richie and West are having their own little battle. Further back for 13th and 14th at the moment. Red Bull versus Williams, both based not too far away from the Silverstone circuit. Side by side they go through Brooklands. Which one of these is going to come out on top? Still trying to go side by side through Lotfield here. Rich is on the outside, but might be able to get the better exit, but might find himself getting pushed onto the curb using all the ERS that he can. Surely, 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 surely. We're not going to see another side-by-side moment through Cups. Of course we are. And it is Jack West who just about comes out on top for this one for now. And they're only fighting for 13th place. Maybe. That's why they're fighting so hard, because they know they've got nothing to gain from it. They've not really got anything to lose from it as well.
To be fair, I'm surprised the Red Bull got through that corner without going into the barrier. Just want to throw that out there. But yeah, great racing between the two of them. Oh, and it's not over yet, because Jack West dives to the inside line. Richie's going to take the outside as well and just shuts the door. So that's it going on. So they're giving us a race to watch. They want to go in the Christmas montage as they come through. And this is actually entertaining. It is for effectively last position, but it's always, you never want to be last. It's the last of the losers that the drivers usually call it, isn't it? They don't want to be there, and not at Christmas.
Yeah, you know, you want some good momentum, and you never know what's going to happen. I mean, they're going to need a bit of a miracle at the moment, but if there's carnage up ahead, and we've seen it happen in the final laps of races, if there's punctures for whatever reason, which again, I don't think we're going to see, who knows? Who knows what could happen in this race?
They should go to 34th Street.
Oh, yeah. I think these drivers are going to need a bit of a miracle at the moment. Oh, we have had a swap around, though, of drivers, and that is Duncan Hoffman getting ahead of his teammate, Tycho Hardy. He's going to need to get quite a long way ahead of him at the moment because of that penalty he's got. But Duncan Hoffman is now in the 10th place with that penalty. I think for Hardy, you know, we're meant to be neutral, but it'd be so nice to see on his PC debut if he can hold on for a point here.
I was just wondering, now that Hoffman's caught up to Hardy, is that going to put Iker Banaya anywhere near him? But no, look, Iker Banaya is 6.3 seconds back to Jeffrey Ritchie. So the championship leader coming into this race has lost a lot of time. As we still see side by side, that's going to be tight coming through Mackett and Beckett. Goodness me, you two, keep it calm, please. Just get home in one piece. But Ritchie's not stopping, is he?
No, they're loving this at the moment. They are just fighting tooth and nail and just having a proper good time at the back of the field. Ritchie round the outside. That's too far round the outside. You're going to find absolutely no grip outside there. And in fact, Jack West nearly loses the car as well. So they've got that battle going on. We'll see what's happening at the front of the field as through the loop for the final time come our race leaders. Mirko Subiano. Fantastic decision by him to stay out that extra lap. Would it have worked if it wasn't for the safety car? We will never know. Personally, I think he might have struggled, but I don't think he'll be bothered too much about that one at the moment. Fassy in second, Lewis in third, but Dylan Warren currently on for all of that with the penalties, and Harvey Cohen has been right on the back of Caden Luck for the last few laps, but unfortunately for him, has not been able to do anything with it, and still West and Ritchie are fighting side by side. This is going to be another fun one down the outside. Well, down the outside towards Brooklands goes Jeffrey Ritchie. He can barely squeeze a tissue paper between the two of them. Down the inside for West. Ritchie on the outside. That's the inside for Luffield. It's pretty much roles reversed from what we saw a couple of laps ago from these two. Hopefully, they're still able to clean it, to keep it clean. And I think on this time, Ritchie has just got enough of his car ahead. And Ismail Fassi.
He's going to dive through. Oh, brilliant.
Dive for it down the inside there as we just cut away. That always seems to happen, doesn't it? As Ismail Fassi, he's tried to get onto the back of Mirko Subiano, has not been able to do it. No one has been able to touch the Italian in these conditions. The inevitable has happened at the back of the field, but at the front, it's Forza Ferrari, Forza Mirko Subiano. He wins here at Silverstone. Dylan Warren takes second place provisionally. Caden Lutt in third. Fassi and Lewis drop down to 5th and 6th place. Older, Koya, Miklevchich and Tycho Hardy on his debut in the top F2 tier takes some points. There's Ritchie and West. We'll see if there's any damage from the two of them. Definitely did make contact at the end. Like we said, inevitably going to happen. I don't think they're going to care too much as Mirko Subiano got the call right in the end and had to soak up a lot of pressure.
Jack went off. Jack went off at the last corner, and it's let Iker and Jeffrey through. So Jeffrey's gone off too. So Jeffrey crosses the line, and Jack's behind him. They're just doing donuts, but that has put Iker Banaya up into 13th position.
He's 20 seconds behind the next car. He's going to need a lot of penalties, I think, to get any points out of all this. But yeah, it is Mirko Subiano then, who takes the victory. Yeah, I think they have taken the flag, but we've... Ah, there we go. I think we had a bit of a home flag racing issue there. But there we go. Have taken the checkered flag, and it is Mirko Subiano for the second time this season who takes the victory here boy, did he have to work for it. Dylan Warren, driver of the day. I don't think you're going to hear any argument from myself, Josh, or any of the 126 viewers that we have got at the moment. That was a fantastic performance from Dylan Warren. I mean, really, from all our top three, they managed to keep it clean. And that is so important to do, especially in conditions like this.
Absolutely fantastic. That safety car came at the right time for them as well. The rain started to come down. Everybody else dives into the pit lane. They stay out. They want to risk it. Safety car gets deployed. And the top three sort of get the perfect opportunity to have another pit stop and benefit from their negligence of going in not on the previous lap. So beautiful. And I think the Ferrari driver did really well. So well done, Serrano.
Yeah, I mean, you can argue there was some luck with that strategy decision, but definitely no luck with everything that happened after that. Fantastic performance. Mirko Soriano takes the victory here. Dylan Warren in second, Caden Lott third, Harvey Cohen in fourth, Ismail Fassi in fifth place. So we're going to have to quickly break out the, I think we're going to have to break out the abacus for this one, but Ismail Fassi is now leading the championship still, 3 points ahead of, I think he's, let's play this down quickly here. He might actually be.
Maths. Yeah.
He might actually be Mirko Soriano leading the championship here. I'll have to get this one confirmed for you, but Soriano might have stuck himself into the championship lead with that one. Warren, Lott, Cohen, Fassi are top five. Will Lewis in sixth, Matthew Alder seventh, Daniel Koya in eighth, Mick Loftic ninth, Tycho Hardy getting points on his debut in 10th place. Akinci, Hoffland, Baena, Richie and West were the rest of the finishers. Pookie, the gamble didn't work out on the soft tyres. Poland we saw retire as well, as did Valentin Divard, Xander Van Dyken, and Bencher, Charbot, Conye from, you know, safe to say, a very dramatic race with quite a strange start.
Very strange start, very similar to what we had at the Nürburgring in 2007. Great getaway for everybody, though. Tyre temp.
Oh, apologies for that one. My Discord has decided to completely crash at that moment, and has just kicked me out completely there. I was trying to invite people into the waiting room for the interviews, and Discord decided that it wanted to throw a bit of a wobbly and completely kicked me out of that one. But hopefully we are back now. As you were saying, a crazy start to that race with the, you know, initial chaos after the formation lap, and then the weather coming quite early.
Yeah, I mean, the rain played a key factor, as we knew it was. It surprised everybody it came early. As you said yourself, because we had the formation lap, then a safety car on the opening lap, that did play a factor. The race was fantastic before and after the rain. And I'm really also hoping that we had a formation lap. It shouldn't have happened. It was a glitch that it happened. The settings were wrong because of the lobby reset. And I'm hoping that what caused the problems wasn't because of the 70% tyre, because that's not what anybody wants. So fingers crossed there, but it was a great race. And I think with that rain, it sort of acted as a neutralizer for everybody to reset the race. And we had the correct people in the correct positions.
Yeah, I mean, those who probably won't be too happy about that, those who had to double stack behind teammates. I mean, Ika Baena was right up there at the front despite having a bad start. Ended up effectively in last place right until the final lap.
Yeah, and I think that's going to affect him now because we've had a week off. He left Monaco championship leader. He's come here at Silverstone expecting to take that further into the Christmas break. It hasn't happened. We understand he has lost the championship league because it was so close anyway. 3 points between him and his teammates, so that's changed. But that's going to stay with him over Christmas now. He's going to be thinking, right, I need to get my head in the game. I need to get back for the remaining 5 races into what I can do better, what I can do precisely right. And I think we're going to see a very exciting comeback from him at the next race after Christmas.
Yeah, I think it should be some very exciting final 5 races after Christmas. We're still no closer to knowing who is going to win this championship. But we have got a couple of drivers in the waiting room ready for interviews. So we are going to start with our race winner for the second time this season, Mirko Soriano. I bet you were absolutely delighted when you saw that safety car come out.
It was very strange. I didn't know it was a point on the to go on intermediates, or I didn't think it was a point. And then the track just became a river in like half lap. So it was the right call to go in. I don't know why the safety car came out, but it absolutely helped me a lot. And then 15 or no, was 20 laps or so of managing the battery against Isma, and again as in Sandboard, it was very quick. So GG's to him again, and yeah, it's a good win. I enjoy it.
Yeah, definitely a good win. As you said, you had to cope with quite a lot of pressure from Isma. Do you think he just had the pace over you today, or were you pretty comfortable and just driving within yourself to avoid making any mistakes, to avoid getting any penalties?
I mean, I had a very low wing setup, I think, also compared to the others. So it wasn't quite the good option for the rain, and it was so fast in the braking. It was getting a lot in the braking zones. Maybe because I was just not comfortable at all. I was feeling like I was gonna lock up if I'd brake more. So it was getting like a lot in braking. Like in the first sector in turn three, it was like 4 tenths behind maybe, and then suddenly came out in turn five attacking me. So in every braking zone I struggled a bit, but I managed to get a good exit in every corner, so I could have defended in the corners.
Yeah, definitely did do a fantastic job. And I think they have quickly done the maths. I think you're now leading this championship by 1 point over Ismail Fassi. How are you feeling going into the final 5 races of the season in the new year?
That's a good way to finish the year. The thing is, yeah, I lost 8 points with Canada because of a steward incidents. I could have got 8 points more, but um, we will see. I don't know. I was just I'll go race to race like always. I think like consistency is my strong point. Uh, so I'll keep it for the consistency.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens. Congratulations, Mirko, on the win, and have a good Christmas and New Year.
Yeah, thank you, and to you.
Yeah, thank you indeed. And next up is a man who we've not seen for a while on the podium in PSGL. Fantastic return for Dylan Warren in second place. Josh, why don't you take us through this one?
Well, Dylan, you were the fan favourite out there. You had Connor spelling your name out individually. Several of the fans watching as well today were absolutely beside themselves with you. You finished fourth, but got second on the podium as well. How does that feel? It might be third in the end after some appeal processes, but a podium, you've got to be so happy.
Well, I'm happy given given the qualifying situation. I was really upset, let's say, with my lack of pace the day before, and obviously this track has been let's say one of my less favorite tracks over time. As to what, like 2 years ago, did PSGL PC here, came last in both qualifyings, and then just couldn't get anywhere in the race. So I was not happy with P15, but obviously thought maybe with the rain, once I saw the weather, I could work with it. And then the safety car came out after I had to stay out, so it saved me. And then obviously just held my ground and then rode it to the end.
Yeah, with the rain and the safety car as well, was it an automatic decision for you that if the rain did come down, you were always going to stay out an extra lap to just try and get track position? Or was it a split second, like, okay, I'll stay out and then I'll come in next lap? The safety car did help you, but what was going through your mind? Because everyone was saying it was a risky gamble to take, but it worked out.
Well, I'm thinking that. My thinking was I had a race similar to this with similar weather, but it was 25%. So I was saying in my mind I'd stay out a lap longer regardless. But then obviously that also was helped by Xander being in front of me, and he's also in the Alpine. So two different things, mainly teammate, but also the fact that it still felt quite dry going through Stowe. So I was like, oh yeah, there's enough grip, might as well go through it, and then hope for the best and hope the weather doesn't pick up.
Certainly was as well. I'll throw back to Luke now as well.
Yeah, thanks for that one. I mean, first race in a while, Dylan. Are you hoping to make any more appearances this season? And has this given you, a bit of the joy of coming back to racing?
Yeah, I've been looking to come back just recently, really. I've tried to start playing the game again. I got bored of it last game after all the screen freezes, so thankfully they're all fixed. Now I can actually try focus on league racing and hopefully challenges coming up soon. Well, yeah, that's fine.
Come
Yeah.
back, come back. We want you.
Yeah, blame Connor. Last
He
season,
was your biggest fan.
I said I'm going on holiday. I'll come back and I'll race. And then when I came back, he was like, "No, you're not racing anymore." With like 4 races left, so yeah.
If
But
it helps, he has become your biggest fan in the chat.
he's
so I
always
think
been my biggest fan. So
Oh.
yeah, legend of the sport.
That he is.
Yeah, congratulations, Dylan, on the podium. We'll let you head off.
Thank you. All right, have a good evening.
Yeah, you too. And last but not least, another man who took advantage of the craziness with the safety car to claim his first podium of the season, and I believe possibly his first podium in the PSGL since he raced in the Xbox season. Congratulations, Caden Law. Again, were you potentially regretting stopping out one lap longer until you saw the safety car?
No, it was part of the plan. I needed to box. I didn't want to do anything crazy, and it felt crazy at that moment to pit the next lap because it was getting quite wet for myself at least. It felt like it, but at the end, the safety car kind of saved a couple of drivers' races ahead, as I thought they would lose a lot of time on the next lap. But for them, it was good, and it worked out, and happy for them. But yeah, podium is good for my second race this season, so I'm happy for this.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, after the safety car, it was quite a lonely race for yourself, but thankfully you were able to keep it clean, and that's what's got you on the podium.
Yeah, I would say if it was dry, I would have had a better chances to be, fighting those guys ahead and maybe even overtaking them. But in the wet, I haven't done much. I didn't do any wet practice. I haven't done much wet on this game at all. But it was kind of difficult to keep the car facing the right direction with the wheel issues and everything as well. But yeah, all worked out perfectly in the end. I mean, near perfectly, but yeah.
Yeah, still, I'll say a good result for you. That's 2 races you've done, 2 points finishes, first podium in a while. How are you feeling ahead of the rest of the season, where I imagine you'll get a few more opportunities as a reserve?
Yeah, I'm feeling quite confident. I feel like my pace is improving a lot, and I'm getting a new wheel actually this Friday, so that's gonna help as well.
Wait
So
till Christmas. It's only on Sunday. Wrap it up.
yeah, that's the plan. On Friday, it's gonna be in a post for myself, and I'm gonna wrap it up and be surprised when I open it. So yeah, I'm
It'd
looking
be
forward
what-
to. I'm really
that-
looking forward to the rest of the season, and yeah, maybe getting a win as well. That's the goal.
New wheel, I think it would be possible completely, actually. So I look forward to seeing your progression as well. Not from the comp box for me, but from the viewer's point of view. I'll look forward to it, and I'll keep texting Luke saying to keep supporting in the chat for you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for the interview, Caden. We'll let you head off. Congratulations on the podium.
Thank you.
And that is pretty much it then for today. After what was, as we said, Josh, quite a crazy race. Mirko Soriano takes the victory, takes the lead of the championship, but 5 races to go. Portugal after the break, still none the wiser as to who's actually going to claim the title here.
No, we're not, and I wouldn't have it any other way, to be fair. And I think that's our first repeat winner of the season in 6 races as well. We've had 5 different winners. The points in the standings are so close. Ismail Fassa just 1 point behind as well. From Studio Archie. So I think we've got this situation now where we've got a good run for 5 weeks, and I think this is just going to get more and more competitive as it goes on. I look forward to watching you in the comms box and seeing how you can do. Keep your voice up with that, because I'm surprised it lasted today, to be fair.
I mean, let's just put it this way. I was very clever when I was muting at quite a few
Yes.
different points in that one. We had a few close calls, but thankfully we made it through. As just said, Portugal after the break, and then Belgium, Australia, USA, and Abu Dhabi in the races after that. But if you want some more action around Silverstone to whet your appetite before Christmas, and there is the rest of the PCTers tomorrow, Josh will be back with F3 tomorrow alongside Richie. There will also be F4, F5, and F6. So make sure to check all them out. They will be on the PSGL channel tomorrow. Times are already shown up there on the description. Thanks to Josh for joining me tonight. Thanks also to our sponsors, GT Omega. Use the code PSGL to get 5% off. Thanks to everyone at home for watching, and have a brilliant Christmas and a fantastic New Year. And we'll see you in 2023. Take care of yourselves, everyone, and goodbye.
This broadcast was brought to you by GT Omega, proudly supporting PSGL.